Okay, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. I think we're up to most people logged on now, so we'll crack on, get started and introduce you to the second in series of webinars that we've run around our benchmarking module within the Insight Hub reporting platform. Today, we're going to be taking you through the supporter engagement reports and modules that enable you to benchmark LTV, attrition and cross-sell. My name's John Kelly. I'm the MD at Wood for Trees. I'll be taking you through the demo of the reports, but before I do that, I'm going to hand over to Josh Hopkinson, who's our product manager, and he's going to take you through a little bit of background on Insight Hub, what it is and what these reports are that I'm about to show you. So hand over to you, Josh.
Thanks, John. So hi, everyone. My name is Josh. As John said, I'm the product manager for Insight Hub. And before we go into the main bulk of the webinar, I'm just going to run you through a quick overview of the Insight Hub platform and some of the benchmarking reports that John will be covering. So whilst today we'll primarily be focusing on the benchmarking, the platform itself offers so much more, and I would implore you to go and check out the website after the webinar to explore some of these features and reports in a bit more detail. The benchmarking reports themselves will allow you to quickly identify the kind of the what and where you're kind of missing or capitalizing on opportunities, but it's the full reports themselves that will provide you with the detailed information you need to create and execute on an effective fundraising strategy. So if you've got any questions during the webinar, there's a little sidebar with a Q&A section. If you can submit them in there, we'll loop around at the end of the webinar and we'll try to get through as many of those as kind of time permits. So let's start with a quick overview of the platform itself. Insight Hub is our Wood for Trees flagship reporting product, combining the skills and knowledge of all business areas into one platform. It compiles, visualizes, and democratizes industry-leading insights for charitable organizations interested in boosting supporter engagement and maximizing their return on fundraising activities. The platform currently has 15 reports with 44 subpages to explore, and has processed over 10 million supporters as well as their 140 million transactions. So that's a lot of data on the platform. At a very high level, we extract data from your CRM systems. We run this data through a series of bespoke transformations to categorize and aggregate into our core charity data model. You might have seen it referenced as our CCDM. And then we extract valuable insights from this transformed data and render them to you via an online portal, which is what we call Insight Hub, enabling you to share these insights across your whole organization at kind of any time with anyone. The platform itself is split into bundles of reports, each focusing on a specific business goal or business area. So we've got the overview bundle, which provides a top-level view of your supporter base, and from there you kind of drill down into more detailed analysis of your customer and income trends. We've got our supporter engagement bundle, which helps you gain a deeper understanding of your supporters' activity, kind of in relation to engagement, retention, and cross-sell. We've got our value bundle, which basically kind of walks you through how supporter value is spread across your organization, and it kind of helps you to identify your key donors. We've got our campaign bundle, which helps you to closely monitor the performance of your campaign and channel activity. We've got our legacy bundle, which helps you to gain a deeper understanding of your legacy pipeline and performance and supporter behavior. And kind of finally, sat across the top of them all, we've got our benchmarking reports. So kind of the reason that you're all here today is to see our benchmarking report for the supporter engagement bundle, and that's what we're going to focus on. So let's take a quick look at its components. So kind of as I mentioned before, data is sourced directly from our client CRM systems and run through a series of processes before reaching our core charity data model. As part of these processes, we anonymize and aggregate key metrics for our benchmarking data sets. So kind of all users on the platform are able to safely and securely compare their own performance against that of the industry as a whole, but crucially without exposing their individual data to competitors. The supporter engagement bundle covers three main areas. We've got our lifetime value report, which allows you to compare the lifetime value of cohorts across your supporter base to better understand how supporters mature and where others may be better capitalizing on their base. We've got our regular giving report, which lets you explore the attrition and retention trends of supporters across the industry and see how your churn compares. And then finally, we've got our cross-sell report, which helps you to understand how supporters donate across the fundraising estate, including the number of products per supporter, as well as the recency between these cross-sell transactions. I think the key question we're trying to answer here is not only how we or how you're performing in relation to others, but where exactly are you missing out or capitalizing on the opportunities present in the marketplace? And if we can understand these opportunities using real industry data to validate them, we can be more confident in allocating the resource to go after them, and basically have an expectation of success when we do go after them. So without further ado, I will hand you over to John, who will take you through some of the reports in more detail and highlight some of our key findings.
Thanks, Josh. If I can change screen then, and can you just verify that you can see my Insight Hub screen, Josh?
Yeah, I've got it up on the screen now.
Cool. Okay, great. So thanks for the intro, Josh. As you said, I'm going to take you through some of the new benchmarking reports that we've just released. So this is the interface when you come into Insight Hub, and you'll see down the left here all the different reports that Josh has just taken you through. So the bulk of these, overview to legacy, are the bespoke, individual your individual charity reports. What we're going to be focusing on here is the benchmarks at the top, which aggregate that data against the everybody else that's in the reports. So those of you that attended the first webinar will have already seen the benchmarks for the overview report, covering recruitment, income, profiles, contactability, and so on. We've also recently released a report on those using the data in those reports on the state of the sector for 2020, and we've been doing regular monthly updates since then, using some of this key data. The latest one out for March is just going live on the website today, so encourage you to sort of go over there, and if you want to see the latest update in data on the trends on the overview for March, then those will be available to you. But as I said, today we're going to be focusing on supporter engagement, which is a new set of benchmark reports which we've just released, covering the areas of lifetime value, regular giving, and cross-sell. So I'm going to take you through a quick demo of each of these reports, and then give you a chance to ask questions or any other comments once we're finished. So just loading up the data for a second. There we see it quickly coming through, and I'm going to start with the lifetime value report. So as with all the benchmarks, you'll see a standard layout where we're showing your charity results. So in this case, I'm logged into the demo portal, so this is a made-up charity that I'm just using to benchmark against the rest of the sector. But key here is over on the right, you will see how your results compare to the benchmark, and you can get an idea of how the sector as a whole is doing across these different metrics. Down on the left, you've got the filters that enable you to drill down and delve into sort of more specific products, channels, and other areas. So the first thing I can see here is overall lifetime value for the last 5 years of myself against the benchmark. I can see for 2017, I've got a lifetime value of 136, which compares to the benchmark of 106. So I'm actually doing very well. So for those 2017 recruits, have had almost 5 years now. Some of them are still in their 5th year, so I'd expect that value to go up a little bit, but I can see where I'm performing, and I can see that I'm above the sector as a whole, which is just over £100. I can also see here the breakdown and how that builds up year on year. So I can see that in year 1, I'm on £53. That's then adding £32 in the subsequent year, £29. So up to about 110 after year 3, and so on, building up. And how that is across time. So I can see that it's going up slightly. Had a very good year. Something happened in 2019, but on the whole, overall, A similar pattern in the benchmark, but again starting from a lower position. So my year one value in 2017, 2018 were both around 53, 54 pounds, whereas for the sector as a whole, it's more at 45 pounds. So again, good signs. I can see that I'm doing well. I can see I'm investing and getting good results compared to what I might expect. I'm also able to drill in from products. So rather than just looking at my supporters as a whole, I can select, for example, to regular giving. As I might see lifetime values much higher. So for 2017, that's creeping up to 285, getting close to 300 pounds. Again, I'm performing a lot better than the sector, but I see a downward trend in sort of year one values here, and I can certainly see that across the benchmark as well. What about if I look at one-off donations? So conversely to that, with the regular giving, we saw that lifetime values are much higher than the average across all supporters. Here we see that with one-off donations, just shy of £100, so quite a lot less, but much better than the sector as a whole. And the sector really is not doing very well, particularly at sort of building value in years 2, 3 and 4. I can see that my proportions here are a lot better than that. I'm also starting from a high start point at £45 compared to one. I see an upward trend here, which is a good sign that my lifetime value, sort of year one values are certainly increasing. I see again that benchmark, although again lower than me as a whole. Another area that I might want to look at is gaming. So if I click on the gaming filter here, I can wait for that to come through. See here values more around the £100 again up, and again you can see increasing trend in year one, and there's more differences going on. If I go over to the cohort, I can see that a lot more clearly, actually, that I can see overall I'm performing very close to the sector. But if I drill into specific years of cohorts, I can see that 2017, actually, that's very similar. I do start to outperform slightly in years 4 and 5. However, if I had quite a value, the sector's lower value and didn't build quickly, 2019, that reversed. So there's some strange things going on with my gaming product, my gaming recruitment, and how I'm driving value from them. So I probably want to look back at the last few years and you know, see what I was doing those different years and try and understand what's driving that sort of change in performance. As well as product, in sort of recruit, driving values. So what I might actually go, whoops, cohort, and one slide. Take a second.
John, just to chip in, you're breaking up a fair amount. It's a little bit hard to hear what you're saying. It's kind of in and out a little bit.
Yeah, apologies for that. Connection, if that helps. Bear with us 1 second. There, that looks like it's coming through better. Okay, so I've reset it now back to regular giving. I'm looking at all my recruits here, but I might want to drill down and understand that in terms of, so for example, digital recruits, I see a slightly more valuable. Direct dialogue, again, I see a good value up here, 272, performing much better than the sector as a whole. I might want to look at DRTV. Again, similar sort of performance and similar performance above the sector. So that's the lifetime value report. I'm going to go on now and talk a little bit about the regular giving report. So as you might expect, this focuses more onto regular giving connected to lifetime value, but now it's drilling more specifically into the retention of those regular givers. I'm looking at non-starter rates, I'm looking at yearly retention up to year 5, and I can also break that down onto a monthly basis. So look at the first 24 months of retention for any particular cohort, channel, or type of supporter. So I flick back to the overall yearly view. I can first of all take a look at my non-starter rates. And I can see actually around about sort of 10%. So had a bad year in 2019, and a little bit better in more recent years, but this is also mirroring the sector improvement. So I can see that my non-starter rate and actually my retention is slightly lower than the sector as a whole. So again, probably what I want to do there is drill in and try and find areas where I'm performing differently against different products or different channels. So I'm going to drill first of all into my core regular giving product, and then I'm going to take a look and say, let me have a look at some of these different channels that I'm using. And let's start with direct dialogue. We know that you know, always performs fairly uniquely across other sectors. So here I can see much higher no-show rates, but again mirrored by the sector. So I'm performing very much online with the sector. If I drill into different years, I can start to see how that might have changed over time. So 2017, I was doing pretty well. 2018 again was a pretty good year, not so good on the non-starters, but into year 2 retention was very good. 2019 very much on a par with the sector, and so are these other years. But I can also look at my gaming. So I might have weekly lottery products that are also compiling into this to show you performance of that product. And there I can see actually, you know, much lower no-show rates than we saw across the board. And again, you know, improving. We can see that improving over time. So again, you know, a good performance. I'm not seeing any real difference to the sector as a whole, so I can sort of validate my performance, know that I'm performing well, and you know, no sort of real horrors there or anything too badly going on. If I drill into the sort of monthly view on the last couple of years, I can see actually there that, you know, up to sort of month 9, 10, I do perform very well, and that starts then to get a little bit worse. So can I be looking at my retention a little bit beyond into year 2 through those sort of crucial months around month 12, month 13, and so on. That's the regular giving report. A lot more that you can drill into, sort of make comparisons, understand specific products or channels that you're using in your regular giving program. The final piece on this is the cross-sell report. So we've looked at lifetime value, we've looked at you know, where you're getting that from year 1 and into retention, but obviously also key to driving value is cross-sell and being able to understand how well you're cross-selling and which supporters are cross-selling from which products to which, and the time scales that they're doing that on. So we, as well as having a sort of overall count view here, we also have a recency view, which shows you actually when these cross-sells are happening from the point of recruitment. If I go back to the count, first thing I see here, if we look at the sector overall, we see 90% of supporters have one product. Now, this isn't unusual, but it's probably not the greatest result, and we'd hope with supporter journeys, supporter engagement, supporter cross-sell initiatives that we should be able to be driving that more. But you can see very starkly here in our sort of cohort of charities that we've got in here, 90% of supporters have one product and a further 8% have two products. So very, very small proportion have three or more. My fictitious charity here is actually performing a little bit better. So I've got 88% with one product and actually closer to 11% with two products. So I can see, you know, what it is that, you know, I'm performing well against the sector. The grids at the top here enable me to see where those cross sells are happening. So if I look for where the sort of larger numbers are, I can see a lot of the cross sell, certainly for the sector, is onto gaming or onto one-off products. And actually, I can see up here that that's similar for me. So where I'm being successful or more successful than the sector, that is certainly through driving cross-sell onto gaming and further also onto one-off donations. Now, interestingly for me, if I look over here, I can also see an area where the sector as a whole seems to be having some success in terms of driving cross-sell onto trading products, whereas I'm really not doing this at all. So is this an opportunity for me at the moment? So if I look, I can drill in here onto those trading products and I get an error. 1 second. Always the issues of a live demo. Let me see if I can try and replicate that. So if I get back onto the cross-sell report, I've got all my filters set as a whole. And there we go, I can start to see where those cross-sells to trading are coming from on the benchmark. So it is a lot from one-off donations and from gaming products, so perhaps unsurprisingly. But I can also see actually where this tends to happen, and a little bit surprising maybe, it is more in later years. So certainly around from 12 months onwards into 2 and 3 years, this is when these people are successfully cross-selling into trading. If I reset back to that, I can see as on a whole, as we might expect, cross-sells are tending to happen in the first certainly 6 months, possibly on to 9 months ongoing. I can also through these drill into particular channels. So I could look at perhaps my digital recruits and try and understand, you know, am I cross-selling on them any better? So if I go back to the count, I can see here that the benchmark and myself both on about 88% for one product. Let me have a look at direct dialogue. We know notoriously they're very difficult to cross-sell onto. But actually what I'm seeing here is that, yeah, we are more of them have only got one product. So I'm seeing that backed up. They're much harder to cross-sell to. Finally, if I look at direct mail, I can see where actually here a much greater proportion of supporters are have got two products, so certainly more chance of cross-selling there. I can have a look, see where the sector is being successful, and compare that to where my successes are, and really probably again similar patterns. We're all doing similar things and we're all being successful in the same ways, but I can see my cross-sell activity is certainly holding up to cross-sell activity of my peers. There we go, very short and sweet today, but hopefully that's given you a flavour of the 3 reports that we've now got released into the benchmarking reporting section. We hope that they'll be useful and valuable to you in understanding not only the performance of your supporters, but how they compare against everybody else. We've been asked hundreds of times over the last 10+ years how we, what does our regular giving attrition rate look like face-to-face recruits, and we've always been able to sort of anecdotally give our clients some idea of where they stand against the rest of the sector. This now we can put it down in black and white or green and black, and really show you and enable you to interact and delve in and dive into particular cohorts of supporters that you're particularly interested in. So thanks for your time. I will open the floor now to questions. So apologies for the audio, but I hope you could hear or at least see most of it. But if anyone's got any questions, feel free to fire them away to us now.
Cool. So we haven't had anything through in the question Q&A section yet. Oh, here we go. So one's just come through. Sorry if I missed it, but how many charities currently go into your aggregated benchmarking data? I'll quickly answer that. So we've got 10 charities on board in the benchmarking aggregates at the moment, as well as a few more in the pipeline.
Okay, thanks, Josh. Yeah, we're looking to bring more people onto this all the time. Obviously, the more we get, the more data we get in here, the more interesting and useful the benchmarks will be. As we get more, we also, I think we've talked about this on previous webinars, anticipate being able to then drill into different causes, different sizes of charities, so you can really start to benchmark up against very similar charities to understand how they're performing against yourself.
And I think another important thing to mention, I went through the bundles earlier, but we do offer an option if you want to come on board to get access to the benchmarking without getting the full reporting suite. We do offer that as well. So you can come on and we'll load your data into the benchmarking reports and you can kind of compare yourself across them.
Okay. Look, have we got any more?
Yeah, so it doesn't look like we've got any more questions coming in at the moment, but I understand we've thrown quite a lot at you today. So if you do have any questions going forward, you could email them across to us. It's getinfo, GETINFO, @woodfortrees.net, and we can respond to you individually. Also, there's loads of information about Insight Hub on the website. If you just head to woodfortrees.net, there's loads of stuff on there too.
Okay, well, great. Thanks for your time, everybody. I apologise for the network connection. I hope you got the gist of most of it, though, and understood what we're showing you here. As Josh said, yeah, please get in touch if you'd like a personal demo or any further information.
And one last thing to mention, we do publish something we call our State of the Sector snapshot every month, where we kind of take out some key visualizations from our benchmarking reports and publish them into a 2-page PDF, which is posted on the website. So if you go to the website and you go to the white paper section, you can download the February report now, and the March report will be online later today. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining the webinar. And as I say, if you do have any questions going forward, please get in touch.
Have a good day, everyone. See you soon.
Cheers. Bye.